guys! So today I did a really pretty kind of cut crease smoky eye with pops of color. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of looks like this where they're really like blown out and smoky, but they're still kind of structured and have that color in them. So if you like this look and you want to know more about it, just keep watching. Thank you. Alright, so I'm gonna use the Wet n Wild Waterdrop primer. It's the rose one. I like it. It's really like dewy and hydrating. It does like really smooth your skin out because it always feels really soft and dewy, but not like oily soft. So now I'm just gonna go in with my IT Cosmetics brush, foundation brush, and my my Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in Dewy, of course. It's medium coverage, so I don't really feel like bad if I put a somewhat excessive amount on, but I really try not to. So now I'm just gonna buff this out, make sure all my hair is out of the way. Honestly, I like this type of foundation brush a lot better than sponges because I feel like it really blends it out, and I don't know, super user friendly. Yeah, as you can tell, I look really dewy, but I love that. Plus, I mean, then like if I set my if I put too much powder on, then I'll be okay because it'll still look somewhat skin-like. But I usually try not to put too much powder on, but sometimes you end up, especially if it's like a really colorful look and you bake, you're gonna end up putting too much powder on. So now I'm going in with my Tarte Sea Hydroconcealer. I really like it. I looked at the reviews on Sephora before buying it because if I'm gonna buy an expensive concealer, I really want to like know it's good. And all the reviews were kind of like lackluster and like, I don't like it. But then I actually went to Sephora and a lady suggested it because I told her what kind of concealer I wanted, and I actually really like it. I always end up putting way too much eye concealer on, but oh well. So I'm just gonna blend that out with the Beauty Blender. I like to put everything at an angle, at an upward angle, so even this, it really does like kind of suck it in upwardy. Alright, that's good enough for me. So now I'm just gonna set my face all over. I might very lightly bake underneath my eyes, but I don't want it to crease. I always kind of feel my skin to make sure it's not like tacky, but also like to make sure it's not too chalky feeling. Especially under my eyes, you want it to feel smooth, but you don't want it to feel like, I don't know.
Go, you know the thing.
Just like not rough, smooth. I don't know how to explain it. Like in need of hydration. I think I'm gonna do a super smoky eye with like a pop of color and like blending into it. So I'm just picking up a kind of neutral light brown shade from my Morphe palette, a Morphe neutral palette, and I'm just gonna kind of pop that into the crease and blend it out up into my brow. Oh shit, I forgot to prime. Holy shit. Okay, priming isn't really, even if like you're using concealer, I know like I probably shouldn't be using concealer. I should be using eye primer, but I have leftover Fenty concealer that's kind of dry and kind of works for eye primer, so I use it. But especially if you're doing a smoky look, like with deep dark shadows, you don't want it to blend out like patchy, especially with black. I always have a patchy black. Well, I'm not even gonna be using my Fenty concealer today. I'm gonna be using a Milk Makeup Flex concealer because my Fenty one is way too like light and kind of cool cast, and this one's a lot warm. I always carve out my brow when I do my eye primer. Saves me a step. It works for me. I'm just taking a flat brush and blending it out. Probably gonna zoom you guys in a little bit. Okay. So I'm just really blending that out, kind of blending it in. So now I'm just taking a neutral brown shade and putting it right in the crease but blending up. You want this to be neutral. You don't really want it to be too warm because we're going to be putting color. Like, obviously you need it a little warm because if you're doing smoky, if you don't have any warm eyeshadow, like for the transition, it's going to look really like kind of overtone, muddy, and not really pop. And not even really blend that nicely from what I've experienced. So I'm just really blending that out. And now I'm going to take a dark brown shade and put it on the outer V. This look is all about blending. That's why you really want to make sure you have eye primer on, because otherwise if you over blend without eye primer, it gets like really patchy. I'm really blending that brown out. You can barely, like, doesn't even look that harsh yet, but that's good. Going back in with that brown and a little bit of that lighter brown shade we used, and going back over on top of that dark brown where we placed it. Now I'm going in with a denser brush, like a denser rounded brush, and taking a really dark brown and a kind of black color, a warmer black. Just like you gotta build it up and make sure it's blended, but not over blend it. Like if you over blend black, it gets really patchy. So I just pack on the black, but also like pack and blend method of where I want it, and just get it really deep and concentrated, and then I'll lightly buff out the edges. Okay, so now I got the black where I want it roughly, and I'm gonna take that lighter brown and that darker brown shade again we went with earlier and blend out the edges lightly. You may have to go back in with that black again, but you really want that blend to be seamless. Okay, so I have that black to where I want it. With the same brush I used earlier to blend out my eye primer, I'm gonna blend this out, but not really blend, just kind of tap it on and blend out the edges. So I got that where I want it. Kind of blending out the edges a little bit more. So I'm just taking a light sky blue shade and just packing it on. Honestly, I really like this blue shade, but I wish it was more pigmented. Has the slightest sparkle, like the very slightest sparkle. So I'm just taking the blue onto the about half of the lid, and then I'm wiping that same brush off. It's just with a thick flat packing brush. Okay, so I got another palette and I'm using a really hot pink, but it is a cool toned pink, but it is still a hot pink in my book. Just really packing that on. So once you pack it on, you want to blend the colors out into the edges of the other color. So that'll work with the pink going into black and pink going into blue. And then I'm going to do the same with blue. Okay, so that's a blended pink. So that's good to me. And I really have this hot pink that's calling my name. So I'm gonna put that on the pink because I feel like that would look really pretty. So I'm actually gonna spritz my brush with some setting spray just because I know this hot pink It's really pretty sparkles, but it honestly doesn't pick up too well on brushes. So I'm just dragging it down on the pink. I'll blend it out on it. And I'm kind of blending it into the blue. This pink actually has like blue sparkles in it, so I feel like it'd look really pretty. Now I'm just going in with the black on the outer corners of the pink, and I'm kind of blending that, deepening that black a little bit more. And I'm taking that brush again with the sparkles and kind of going over that liner effect of the black. Just so the shadow's there, but it looks very blended and seamless. So I have this really sparkly, like light blue transformer shade. It's from the palette, the Unicorn palette by Too Faced, Life's a Festival palette to be exact. Ooh, that's really pretty. I don't know if you can see, but with that transformer shade, like going into the pink, it kind of creates this little purplish, like iridescent effect, and it looks really, really, really pretty. I'm just gonna go do the other side and do my brows, and I'll come back. So, unfortunately, I got fallout, well, just a little bit, but it left kind of an overcast on my makeup, so I'm just putting more concealer on. Sorry for the shadow, the sun's starting to go down. Honestly, it probably would have been smart if I did my eyes first. But nope, I just ran right into things and didn't think.
That's okay, I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I know that looks like a lot, but it's not baking, and I'm just blending it right out anyway. So don't come at me. I feel like one eye looks better than the other, but that always ends up happening. I'm taking a flat top bronzing brush and using my Too Faced chocolate bronzer. And I'm going up really high, like on top of my cheekbones, because I have a very round face. Like right there. My cheekbone's down here, right up here. I'm blending everything up and at an angle. So I'm blending it up, not in. Blush. So I'm using the Nars Orgasm blush, and I really like it, and it's like one of the only blushes I have, and it's only the sample size, so I put my blush right on the tops of my cheekbones, right where I'd put my highlight. So now highlighter. Gonna use the Kat Von D Alchemist highlighting palette, and I'm taking the pink opal, so any pink highlighter will do, or honestly any, and I'm just put it right here. So with highlighting, I like to do this thing called spot highlighting, where I just highlight the spots. I don't highlight the whole nose, I don't highlight the whole cheek, I just highlight the spots exactly where I want to highlight. I'm just blending that highlighter out a little bit with blush. And now I'm gonna finish the eyes. Just put some lashes on, do a small tight line, and I'll be back. Okay, so I couldn't find the liquid lipstick I wanted to use. It was a really pretty like berry tone, but of course I can't find it. But I do have this like kind of mauvey nude shade that I think would look really good. So actually first I'm going to use this like Milk Makeup blush stick and just put it on my lips, kind of tap it on just to give it some base color. On camera you can't really tell a difference. I'm going to go in with this Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss in Kristen. So this is the finished look. I really like it. A little iridescent smoky eye. It's super pretty and colorful, yet it's still wearable, you know, like you can still wear it out and people won't like just stare at you, you know. They'll be like, oh, wearing color, but it like just doesn't look tacky, you know. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun making this video. I tried something new and it gave me a lot of ideas for other videos and for next time.